nudity. And so we did pile of clothes on one side, pile of the shoes on another side, any jewelry you had on another pile. So then we were marched up to a woman there. She was sitting, she had hair clippers in her hand, and all our hair came off. And we're told, we're going to the showers. So my question was, how about a towel and some soap? You'll get that later. How about my clothes? You'll get them later. Okay. Well, we got at this room. There were shower heads there. I can't remember if the water was warm, cold, hot, tepid. No recollection. But I know we got water. When we got out to the other side, I still hadn't gotten the towel and the soap. I asked for my clothes. They said they're being cleaned. Pick some from the piles which are around here. So just pick something which fits you. And we were marched to our barrack, which actually reminds me of, you know, the construction barracks they have now when they put them up the office. Something like this. And about the size, I would say, like a military barrack. And when we got there, there were the 2 or 3 deckers beds with straw mattresses. I can't remember that there was a bad smell or anything in there. Mother, with her sense of humor, said, let's take the upper one. There won't be any straw falling in our face. She had a good sense of humor. And so that was at night. The next morning, early morning, reveille, get up, line up to be counted. And it's like in the army, you stand there and an SS man goes back and forth and checks if he has the right number of people. I tried finding out where we are by talking, and you're not supposed to talk when you're standing there on the roll call, so I was asked to deal on the gravel. And from there we were marched to breakfast. And breakfast consisted of a big kettle of brown liquid, which turned out to be like cereal coffee, and a slice of bread, fairly nice slice, German bread, and a slice of bologna, which tasted like nothing. I call it the water bologna. I tried saving part of it under my mattress, but somebody stole it, so that was the end of that. I would swallow it every time I got. From there, we were marched over to another table, and somebody was sitting there. Somebody had a book there, or ledger, and somebody had like a pen, and everybody had to stick out their arm. And they were doing something, so I said to Mother, Mother, go first. Let me know if it hurts. As if I could change it, right? Well, anyway, she went, and then I got there, and I got my little number, which is starting to fade now. And from there, we were marched to get our work assignment. Very important work. We were told that about between a quarter and a half a mile this way, there is a pile of bricks. We should pick up as many bricks as we can carry and take them over there, quarter mile, half a mile, and stack them up there. Okay, we did that day in, day out. When we were finished, we were told, okay, you carry them back where you got them from. Probably just a way to wear out the people who weren't strong enough. Now came dinner. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to get a second cup of coffee in the morning. The cereal. And we had these beggar's tin cups that was used. Well, the capo, which actually was a prisoner too, but got special privileges, right? Took my cup and hit me on the nose. So I've got a little bit of crooked nose here. And everybody right away told me, don't mention anything, don't go to the infirmary or anything. So I didn't go to the infirmary. So then evening dinner came, and that's the best part. Now, I give you the recipe. It was a soup, which tasted of caraway. It was fairly thick. I found out the recipe. Take a pot of water, put some caraway seeds in there, or you can do any type of flavoring you want, and then stir some flour in there or some cornstarch to thicken it. No fat, no calories. You don't put on weight with that type of food, and you only got 1 cup. And then back to bed, and this was the routine every single day. The bathroom, I can't remember whether I took a shower, how we took a shower, where I took a shower, I can't remember. But I can remember the toilet, which was, again, one of those big barrels. In the center, a square, what do you call it, bucket or something, all the lengths of it. On each side, a telephone pole. The telephone pole was a toilet seat. I can't remember if we had any paper, toilet paper or anything. But somehow my brain is funny. If I can't do anything about it, why remember it? That's the way my brain has been working in this instance. So anyway, this went on and went on and went on. And then after, I don't know how long a time, we were told we were going to be moved to another camp. Now, for some reason nowadays, I think that was when they're trying to evacuate Auschwitz. The Russian were getting. That's the only reason I could see it. So we were moved to a camp in Czechoslovakia. The building was like an old castle type of thing, the same type of bunk beds and so forth. The head of that building was a woman SS, real. I don't say that word loud in case some children hear me. And the work assignment was going to the factory every morning to make mortar shells. Now, they were testing them, except it exploded in the, whatever you call them, put them in. Nowadays, I say we didn't have quality training. We were like assembly line. Local women, war workers were there, and they were one local woman, one a prisoner, and behind us stood one of those soldiers. And so that went in a day. I forgot to say, in the camp, if somebody died overnight, there was a little shed on the side. And everybody knew about it after a while, that if there were 2 or 3 dead in there, they wouldn't come for a raid, a selection. And that's what I forgot. It was one of the worst part of the camp, actually, in Auschwitz. One day I'm coming back from getting the bread in the morning, and the door is open. Everybody inside the barrack is naked, and inside the door is an assessment, which I later found out was Dr. Mengele, the famous Dr. Mengele. And he was taking everybody by the hand over the head, turning them around, and looking them over to see if their skin was clean, or if it was a pretty girl he selected who was in good shape, she would end up at the pleasure house of the soldier. The ones which were not too good looking, they might look at the infirmary for him to play with, or they would go to the crematorium. So here I am, standing outside. They wouldn't let us in. And the next person he picks is Mother. Now, what's he going to do with her? Well, I think at that point, I couldn't even breathe, because that was basically the hardest part of the whole camp. He pushed her back in the barrack, which means he didn't want her. Good. Mother didn't know where I was. Had he stopped me? So basically, we got together again. That was fine. So now we come to the other camp. And if somebody died, 2 prisoners were assigned to carry the body, usually in a black blanket or some black bag, to somewhere to bury it. And they were buried in a field in a shallow grave, not a cemetery, no marking. We managed to say a silent prayer. We didn't want to do it loud because the guards were watching us. And that was about it. So that went on, and somehow time had no meaning anymore. It's like a sleepwalker, you just keep doing what's being done, and you didn't dare. One day, finally, the head of the camp came to me and Mother and said, I know you're mother and daughter, and I'm going to make sure that one of you doesn't survive. My son was killed in Stalingrad, so no mother should have her child with her. Well, this was getting a little close. Mother was getting very sick, had diarrhea. How did I keep her clean? Not the slightest idea, but I must have.